Right now we want to turn our attention to MMA, a sport that's been blasting off in the last couple of years. And for the most part, my opinion, is taking over boxing because boxing boring as hell. But we won't get into that another day. But we got a big fight coming up this week. MMA, it's Epic 35. Epic 35. And we'll give you all the information coming up a little bit. But right now, we're going to introduce you to some of the fighters who are going to be on the card. Now, I need you guys to introduce yourself because we didn't get a chance to talk. You know, we're taking pictures, in the break. You?
Hi, I'm Juliana Miller, and we'll be having my second amateur fight this Friday.
Juliana Miller, the Killer Miller, I'm told, right?
Attempted Killer Miller.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say hi, but I had to ease up a little bit. But
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having us. My name is Christian Lionheart Leon, and I'm gonna be having my 7th fight here at Epic, so don't miss it.
My name's Jazzy Jeff Creighton. I'm fighting for the California 170 state title. This weekend come out at 4 Point Sheridan, Epic 35. It's going to be a big event.
Well, he already gave the location, so I took that away from me.
There you go. But, there you go.
That's all good.
I'm already ahead of you.
Julia, let me ask you first. And I ask you guys the same question because obviously you guys are going to have different answers for it because you have different interests in getting into this. But what got you into MMA fighting?
Just the idea of wanting to learn self-defense. Just the idea of wanting to learn self-defense and be able to protect myself. People will walk to their car scared, and I was just thinking, why don't you just learn how to feel safe on your own? Just to be bigger and stronger than I've ever been before, and I love to wrestle.
And so what's your major skill? Because everyone has a different skill set that they're stronger in versus other parts.
I'm a submission artist.
Uh-oh.
I could choke you out from anywhere.
I guess we ain't going to lunch.
Might be out before we go to lunch.
Christian, what got you into MMA?
Well, actually, just the competition, man. I love competition, and I like she said, self-defense. That's actually what got me to MMA.
When you talk about competition so far, what has been your toughest, or who has been your toughest competition?
Oof. I guess my first MMA fight, I actually fought with an injured shoulder, and I was getting beat up, and end up knocking out the other guy.
Now
so it was pretty fun.
When you say that, it's your first fight. You already got butterflies, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You had friends and family in the crowd.
Yeah, of course.
And you was getting your ass whooped.
I was getting my ass whooped.
You said beat up. I'm saying getting your ass whooped.
Yeah.
What kind of feeling is that?
Oh, it's horrible, man. It's horrible. So, I mean, I had to do something, and I threw that kick, and it landed, and I ended up knocking out the guy. So,
Jeff, what got you involved in MMA, and obviously staying in it because you're going for a championship?
Yeah, I'd have to say wrestling. I started wrestling at a young age. I was always getting in fights on the playground during recess, so I think I was just kind of like born to be a fighter. My dad was like, I knew you were going to be a fighter. You were like 4 years old. We were at McDonald's. You got to fight on a. You were rolling down the slide, fighting a kid on the playground. I was like, I knew he was going to be a fighter. So he wasn't surprised once I started getting into this. He was like, all right, I knew you were going to go down that path. So I guess from then on, I was destined to be.
Being a female, Juliana, what's some of the feedback you've gotten after fights, during practice, or what have you? Because obviously people look at women differently when they get into the real contact sports like this. Because even in MMA fights right now, I think some of the best cards they had females on the card. So what kind of some of the feedback you've gotten?
People love it. People love to watch girl fights, especially in crazy scrambles. Girls go pretty hard, and we love to put on a show. It's just really beautiful because so many women out there are scared all the time. They carry weapons in their purses, pepper spray, and we're here to show people that you don't have to live life scared. You can really go out there and face your fears and just learn how to protect yourself.
We're talking MMA, especially with the event coming up at the 4 Point Sheraton this week. Epic 35 it is. Some of the fighters on that card. You can always follow these guys on Twitter at Epic Fighting. And, of course, you can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at C.A.M.O Show. This card coming up, the 13th, is right? Or no, the 18th. 18th, yes, at the 4 Point Sheraton. The website is epicfighting.com. That's what I thought. I just want to make sure. But anyway, this card coming up on the 18th. What kind of card is it, Christian?
Well, Epic Apple brings really exciting events, and just don't miss it, guys. August 18, 4 Point Sheraton.
I was kind of surprised that when I got the email about this coming up, and I told a couple people that I was going to have you guys on the show this Sunday. I got a lot of good response from it because obviously the reputation of Epic has gotten around. I'm going to assume that the 35 is March just like UFC. This is the 35th event?
Yeah, this is
okay, just making sure, because I know UFC is, 214, 215. Do you see this league, if you want to call it that, do you see this expanding and getting as big as UFC, Jeff?
To the amateur level, yeah. The show, I remember watching, like, highlight videos of, like, Epic 1, 2, and 3, and much smaller events. And now there's, like, 1,000 people, in attendance each event, and there's about, between 15 and 20 fights each event. So there's a lot of fights going on. There's more competitors. There's more fans. There's just more people wanting to be there. I could see it definitely, like, taking over this, SoCal regional area. Just the best event, down here in the South.
Now, obviously, you just can't show up and fight. You got to train.
Yeah,
so,
true.
And I'm sure you guys are working during the day, whatever you have to do, whatever shift you work on. So how does that work? How does your training schedule go?
Usually I wake up around 5:15. I run to the gym at 6. From 6 to 8 I work out, and then I go to school. I'm going to school to be an EMT. So I go to school for most of the day, and then I come back in the afternoon and work out from like 4 to 6:30, and just get as many hours as I can training. It's hard. You got to prioritize and really use your time wisely. But if you really want it, you'll make it happen.
Christian, what's your schedule like?
It's kind of similar to his. Wake up like 5, 6, train from 6 to 8. Go to work, come back and train again for another couple hours. And like he said, it's really hard to, like myself. I have a full-time job, so it's kind of hard to keep up with all the other guys that don't have to work. But we're trying, and we're getting there.
It pays off. You can always tell when it pays off. Juliana, what's your schedule like?
I mostly work weekends, so I've tried to clear my schedule to train as much as possible. I train in the morning from about 9 to 1, take a couple-hour break, and come back around 4 or 5 until 8 o'clock at night. I pretty much train all day, but I love this. I love to throw down. It's so much fun to just get out there and scrap and really have a chance to release that inner savage. We all have it, and very few people can actually unleash that without getting in some form of legal trouble. So for me, I'm trying to stay out of that trouble and throw down in a place where people love you for it.
Yeah.
Fighting is so looked down upon, on your peers, but it's so awesome when you love to fight and then you're in that cage and people are actually cheering for you like it's a beautiful and amazing thing instead of something terrible.
I can hear it in your voice. I mean, that transitions. But is there such thing as overtraining?
Oh, absolutely. Rehabbing your body is so key, man. You kind of get shot out when you train too much. It's happened to me all the time, but I'm addicted to it. I love it so much. I always find myself back in there.
Now, when you first got into it, obviously there was some hesitation, I'm sure, because you never experienced it before. But once you got into it, how quickly did you all of a sudden fall in love with it?
It took me about a month because I started with wrestling. And it was hard for me to be so close to other people or, there's these sweaty people rolling around on the mat. And as a female, you're kind of like, oh, you want that guy to wrap his legs around me and put me in his guard? And then I realized how much fun it is to just throw someone on their head.
You shook your head, Jeff, about overtraining. Have you done that before? Have you gotten close to it or what?
When I first started, I started back when I was like 17. So I was still in high school. So when after school, I'd just head right to the gym, and I'd be training 5-6 hours a day just to catch up. I felt like I had to catch up with the game. My striking lacked. I was a good wrestler, so I spent probably 2 years just working on my striking alone, and kind of put my wrestling and grappling to the side. And now, it's kind of reversed. My striking's there, my craft's there, but I kind of left my wrestling and jiu-jitsu back. In the back of my head, so I'm kind of, trying to average it out and even it out. But, definitely, overtraining's definitely, I've definitely overtrained before. You gotta really, prep your body. You gotta, foam roll, ice, massage. It's a lot of time. And as amateurs, we're not getting paid for this, so that all costs money, so, it really just means that much more to us.
You bring up a good point. When you get into it, you have some strengths, you have some weaknesses. Christian, when you got into it, obviously you have some strengths and some weaknesses. Yeah. What do you feel you need to work on right now?
Right now, probably just flowing more. I believe my strength is striking, So what I would need to work more on, it's probably jiu-jitsu. And I've been grappling every day. I've been putting on my gi. So I've been training really hard for this fight.
Now, when you say that, do you have a different coach each time for like each?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the specific coach for every different martial art.
So that costs too, right?
Yeah. No. Well, we pay an amount of money for the gym for all the classes.
Gym. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So,
Juliana, what's your strength, and if you want to call it weakness, or just what do you have to work on?
Movement. Just staying mobile all the time in martial arts. One of the worst things you could ever do is stay completely grounded. Your opponent can read you that way. So for me, I'm working on striking and head movement and just really making sure that I don't get caught in my standalone. I love wrestling and jiu-jitsu. I won't ever put it on the back burner because I want my black belt as quick as possible.
Oh, so you're going for black? Okay, all right.
Yeah, but that's why I picked up my training, and so now I'm taking about 5 classes a week of striking.
Now, you mentioned, Jeff, this is amateur. Where do you want to take this?
Oh, I'm going to be a world champ.
Professionally?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've already set my mind
to
it. My plan is I have 1 or 2 more fights, then I'm going to make my pro debut, fight a couple times. I'm going to work as an EMT. I'm going to save up $10,000 and then move to Thailand for 6 months, and that's my plan.
Working as an EMT.
Yeah.
You can take care of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I might be working at some of the fights too.
Christian, where do you see yourself going with this? Is this just something that you're doing right now, or something you want to see professionally?
No, I definitely want to take it to the professional level, and we're pretty close to it, man. I believe 1 or maybe more amateur fights, and I'll be doing my pro debut too, and just keep working hard, man.
What's it going to take to get you to get your pro debut? You said 2 more fights, and you want to get. I'm talking to Jeff right now.
Yeah, I have 8 MMA fights and 2 Muay Thai fights. I want to fight another MMA fight, obviously this Friday, and then we'll kind of just go from there. I trust my coaches; they'll give me the green light when I'm ready to go. I just trust them. So,
Juliana, I can't leave you out. Where do you see yourself going with this?
I want to be an instructor one day. Of course, a world champ, most especially in jiu-jitsu. As far as MMA, I'm still getting into it, and I haven't really decided if I want to do that professionally, but I want to be the ADCC Absolute World Champion, which is one of the highest level competitions for no-gi grappling.
Well, we want to get information out once again. It's going to be this Friday, the 18th, at the 4 Point Sheraton off Arrow Drive. Doors open at, 7 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
And, of course, all the action gets underway right after that. Again, you can follow him on Twitter at Epic Fighting or go to the website epicfighting.com. It should be a really good event. Epic 35 coming up this Friday, the 18th at the 4 Point Sheraton. Your prediction for your fight, Julian?
It's going to end in the first minute. I'm going to submit her. I'm going to choke her out. All my amateur fights, my goal is to end it in under a minute. My first one was 44 seconds, and this time I'm shooting for 30.
I thought she was going to say, second round in a minute.
Under a minute.
Under a minute. My bad. Christian, where do you see your fight taking place this Friday?
Well, I believe I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna just my technique gets better. That's my prediction.
Jeff, yours? And it's a stupid question because y'all gonna say I'm gonna lose.
I'm not. Losing's never in my mind, but I do think,
of course,
KO due to head kick is going to happen. I've been working on my striking. I just feel confident. I feel like I found my flow and I'm just there. It's my time.
Now, do you guys watch film on other fighters, especially the fighters you're going up against? So you can
sometimes. Yeah, I don't really worry about that too much. I kind of let that to my coaching staff. They tell me, he's a southpaw orthodox striker, wrestler, and then I just kind of worry about what I'm going to do. So
you watch.
Yeah, sometimes I do, but most of the time I just worry about myself getting better, getting better. And if you feel good with your body and your mind, you're gonna beat him. So
again, it's this Friday, the 18th, at the 4 Point Sheraton off Arrow Drive. Epic 35. Come out and watch these 3 outstanding fighters, and of course a really good card that's coming up too. If you have nothing to do on the Friday, which most of y'all don't, it's going out to Epic 35 at the 4 Point Sheraton. Juliana, Christian, Jack, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Appreciate the
Thanks
time.
for having us.
Harvey, thank you, my man, too. I appreciate it. EpicFighting.com. Good show today. A lot of information. If you missed any of it, you can definitely get it on the podcast on Mighty1090.com or just go to my website, CS Key Show. Appreciate you joining me. We'll see you next week. It's the CS Key Show on San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090.